3 people killed as heavy rains and flooding hit Al-Mahra province east of Yemen. The International Monetary Fund warns of the impact of the Red Sea crisis on Yemen humanitarian crisis. Talks in Cairo intensified to secure a deal for a ceasefire in Gaza and release of hostages. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Shazad Dirbey. 2 girls and a young man were killed by drowning in water caused by torrential rains in Al-Mahra province. Also, the National Center of Meteorology warned of continued thunderstorms in different areas in Yemen. The center expects moderate rain in parts of Sana'a, Amran, Sada, and active winds to blow east and center of the Gulf of Aden and around Socotra Island. Floods left widespread damage on roads of Al-Mahra. This comes as the country is witnessing bad weather conditions in the last weeks. This report has more details.
Floods caused by rainwater in the Yemeni governorate of Al-Mahra caused extensive damage to infrastructure, roads, and public property. The governorate, which is located in the far east of Yemen, witnessed a few days ago an air depression that led to heavy rains resulting in torrents that struck roads, farms, and infrastructure amid support from the army forces for the local authorities in the rescue. The governor of Al-Mahra introduced an initial briefing regarding the damage caused by torrential rains to public and private property, agricultural holdings, roads, infrastructure, and basic services in the city of Al-Ghaida and various parts of the governorate. The president of the Governing Council in Yemen also listened to a briefing on the coordinated efforts with the concerned authorities and regional and international organizations. Most notably, the interventions of the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center to limit the repercussions of the depression and to provide aid, rescue operations, and assistance to those affected and the afflicted families. Earlier, the local authorities in Al-Mahra reported that army forces in Al-Ghaida axis were conducting a rescue operation and transporting residents whose homes were besieged by floods and those on public lines to shelter centers. The local authority and the emergency committee asked all residents near the valleys and flood channels to leave their homes and move to safe places, as large floods are expected to spread. The authorities also warned of the need to stay away from flood streams, valley bottoms, and reefs in order to ensure their safety, and warned of the danger of approaching cables, electrical transformers, and high voltage lines during and after rain.
A fire broke out in a camp for displaced people in Bayhan district in Shabwa, causing severe damage. The executive unit for the management of displaced persons camps said that the fire was caused by children's fireworks and devoured 2 shelters for the displaced. The European Union's mission in the Red Sea announced that it is going to strengthen its military presence in the region with a Belgian ship. France, Germany, Italy, Greece, and Belgium are participating in the European Union mission in the Red Sea, in addition to a Danish ship that returned from the mission to its base. The International Monetary Fund warned of potential negative impacts on Yemen due to the Red Sea escalation, recommending fiscal reforms, financial stability, and external financial support. This report has more details.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has warned of negative effects on Yemen due to escalations in the Red Sea, stating that the halt of oil exports since the Houthi attack in October 2022 has deprived the government of half of its revenues. The IMF estimated that the growth in Yemen is estimated to have contracted by 2% in 2023, while inflation remains high despite declining global food prices. The findings were released after an IMF team held an annual consultative meetings with the Yemeni government in Amman. The loss of oil exports, which represented more than half of the government's revenues, is estimated to have widened the fiscal deficit to 4.5% of GDP in 2023, adding to the pressures on reserves. and the exchange rate. The humanitarian situation in Yemen remains difficult with 17 million people facing food insecurity. Disbursements of GCC support package and stable remittance have been mitigating factors. Despite the challenging situation, the IMF urged the further acceleration of fiscal reforms, including improving revenue administration, while enhancing expenditure reprioritization and control. It stressed the importance of maintaining stability in the financial sector and strengthening compliance in line with international frameworks, including AML, CFT, and national standards. External financial support remains critical to help ease fiscal pressures, limit monetary financing, and preserve price stability. Active engagement with donors and improving the availability and consistency of financing will be crucial. The IMF pledged to continue providing comprehensive technical assistance to Yemen to enhance institutional capacities and held discussions with partners and key stakeholders to enhance synergies and improve coordination of external assistance.
Massam, the mining project, revealed that the Houthi militia booby-trapped fishing boats and pushed them towards the international shipping lane in the Red Sea. The project's general manager, Osama Al-Qusaybi, announced that one of the project teams dismantled large explosive devices that were going to Bab el-Mandab coast. The British newspaper The Telegraph reported that the Houthis are cooperating with Al-Qaeda to overthrow Yemeni cities. The newspaper quoted experts saying that Iranian-backed militia provides weapons to the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda by giving them drones and releasing key terrorist figures from Houthi prisons in order to disrupt security in Yemen. Dozens of Taiz University students protested on campus to support the student movement in American and European universities. The students condemned the genocide and brutal attacks against the Palestinian people, demanding an immediate end of Israeli violations against the Palestinian people. They also raised Palestinian flags, banners, slogans denouncing Israeli violations.
خرجنا هنا من جميع الكليات في جامعة تعز.
We are staging this protest in support of the Palestinian people who are subjected to a genocide by the Israeli occupation. We also protest in support for the students in American and European universities against dictatorship and genocide.
طبعا نحن طلاب جامعة تعز خرجنا اليوم من أجل غزة.
We protest to support Gaza and to call for an end to the continued genocidal crimes for 7 months. We protest in support for the students in different universities who were subjected to violence and terrorism in their countries.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he is ready to stop the fighting in Gaza in exchange for the release of hostages. Netanyahu added that he will not accept conditions that amount to surrender and is going to continue fighting until the war goals are achieved. For their part, the Palestinian resistance said the Palestinian movement is still keen to reach a comprehensive, interconnected agreement that ends the aggression. The resistance leadership said the agreement should guarantee withdrawal and achieves a serious prisoner exchange deal, while holding the prime minister responsible for inventing justifications for the continuation of the Israeli aggression. 2 soldiers were killed and others were injured on Sunday by shelling on Karam Abu Salam military position east of Rafah. Israeli Army radio said about 10 mortar shells were fired from Rafah towards the position, killing 2 soldiers and 8 others were seriously injured. Al-Qasim Brigades announced that it was responsible for the attack. Medical sources announced the death toll in the Gaza Strip had risen to more than 34,000 since the start of the Israeli aggression. The sources added that the Israeli occupation committed 3 massacres against families in the Gaza Strip, which led to the death of 29 citizens and the injury of 110 others in the past 24 hours. Coming next in the news. Arab Traffic Week 2024 is launched today to raise awareness about road safety.
As you can see today, this is one of our classes where we are having children aged starting from 9, 10, who have not been enrolled in the formal education, but in countries like Yemen, that has been suffering from a protracted conflict since 2014, more families and children are internally displaced. As these children and families move from one location to another, their access to education is interrupted. Even when families are prioritizing their children's education, schools in the host communities might find it very hard to accommodate the increased number of children who are coming and want to go back to school. And the result is more children are out of school across the country. UNICEF, in collaboration with its partners and with support from ECHO, is providing these families, children, and communities with a second chance to education through its accelerated emergency learning programs. As we have been working with families, communities, and children to increase their awareness of the importance of education, we have been seeing more children coming to our classes every single day.
I'm back. Somali media said a cruise missile fired by the Houthis landed in Somalia. The Somalia media added that a missile fired by the Houthis entered Somalia airspace and landed near the historic Talah area. Residents reported they heard an explosion caused by a missile landing in the area. Educational sources said the Houthi militia subjected employees of the learning sector to join the summer camps. The Houthi militia pushed more than 5,000 employees and thousands of students to main center of the Reading Ability Eradication Agency in Sana'a and in other governorates to receive mobilization activities under the name of summer courses. Yemen has advanced 14 places in the Global Press Freedom Index. Reporters Without Borders reported that Yemen ranked 154 out of 180 countries in the Global Press Freedom Index for the current year. Since the beginning of the summer season, Ma'rib Governorate has been facing repeated power outages. According to previous official statements, the reasons are due to increased loads and the absence of rationalization. This report has more details.
Ma'rib gas station being out of service from time to time exacerbates the humanitarian situation in Ma'rib Governorate, which is witnessing a deteriorating situation at a time when electricity is witnessing frequent outages for long hours in the city's neighborhoods. According to previous statements by the electricity department, the recurring power outages are due to a power shortage, resulting from increases in demand and excessive loads on the electrical network.
The frequent outages of electricity has doubled the suffering of many displaced people who live here in the governorate. The local authorities should have precautions to avoid such problems. High temperatures in Ma'rib Governorate start in the month of May, June and July. We call on the concerned authorities to reach a solution regarding the frequent outages of electricity services.
These frequent interruptions raise citizens' questions about the role of responsible authorities in addressing the imbalances and problems they face. Citizens demand the installation and improvement of electricity service, as is the case in commercial stores, to ensure fair distribution of energy and reduction of its waste.
تابعنا الإعلام وتابعنا تصريحات الأخ مدير عام المؤسسة فرع مأرب.
We followed up the statements of the director of the electricity services in Ma'rib Governorate, which tackled the issue of high consumption and the importance of use rationalization, but we are still in need of radical solutions.
Since the beginning of the summer, Ma'rib Governorate has faced frequent power outages that disrupt the life of citizens, and they don't see any solutions that would alleviate the suffering, especially with the high temperatures and its impact on various aspects of life.
The Director General of Taiz Governorate Police inaugurated today the Arab Traffic Week, which is implemented in the period from May 4 to 10 under the slogan "With our awareness, we arrive safe." This report has more details.
Ma'rib Governorate Police Governorate Police Officer Mohammed Al Khalili said the Arab Traffic Week was a success.
Before those vehicles turned into ruins, scattered here and there, they were in a good condition. But disregarding rules of traffic had them turned into a tragic theater of metal. Accidents claimed the lives of 19 people and injured 159 others during the first quarter of this year.
Traffic accidents increase daily for several reasons, the most important of which is that the driver does not adhere to traffic rules and does not follow safety rules to protect lives and property. We send a traffic message to the community and ask them to adhere to traffic rules for their safety.
As the rates of accidents increased, which reached 140 people, that led to major losses up to 800 million riyals. Here, the traffic police come to take the initiative in organizing Arab Traffic Week activities within the framework of joint efforts to spread awareness and traffic rules, as well as enhancing route safety through implementing a variety of field activities and programs.
We send a
message to the community on the occasion of Arab Traffic Week under the slogan, "With our awareness, we arrive safely." We hope that we will reach the field for what we aspire to. We also have awareness meetings in the...
Cholera is a bacterial disease that spreads when there is a lack of safe drinking water. It causes acute diarrhea with severe dehydration and can be highly infectious. It can kill within hours. However, it is easily preventable and treatable. MSF teams are doing whatever they can to respond, treating thousands of patients and providing clean drinking water in 10 countries. But with so many outbreaks ongoing, needs are huge on a global scale. Ultimately, no one should die of a preventable disease such as cholera. We must work together to curb these outbreaks.
Suspected cases of cholera in Taiz Governorate has risen to more than 600 cases since the beginning of this year. According to health media, more than a third of the cases in Taiz, or 37% of the total cases reported, were confirmed after laboratory examination. Taiz is one of the governorates witnessing an outbreak of cholera, as 112 new cases were recorded during the past 8 days. Here's a reminder of the main headlines. 3 people killed as heavy rains and flooding hit Al-Mahra province east of Yemen. The International Monetary Fund warns of the impact of the Red Sea crisis on Yemen's humanitarian crisis. Talks in Cairo intensify to secure a deal for a ceasefire in Gaza and release of hostages. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.